Hi everybody, this is Charles and Sybil with Striking Conversations with our Love Dare Devotional, day number 7.
And day 7 says, love believes the best.
And our scripture for today is 1 Corinthians 13 and 7. And it says, love believes all things, hopes all things.
Oh, that is awesome, because the word that's really powerful there, everybody, is the word that's used twice. The word is all. All encompasses everything that you can think or even imagine. And it goes on to say that in the deep and private corridors of your heart, there is a room. And this room is called the appreciation room.
I like that room. It says that this is where your thoughts go when you have positive and encouraging thoughts about your spouse. And every so often, you enjoy visiting this special place.
We didn't know where that place was for a long time.
Long time.
You know,
okay,
in the early days, I don't know if it was called the appreciation room. It was just, I thought maybe it was like the buttermilk room, to get to know your room.
We're just chilling over here.
Yeah, just a chilling room, getting ready for the lust room. You know, all those kind of rooms. But I'm not really sure if there was a lot of appreciation, even before we got married, unfortunately. Now, some of you all, you got started, as Mama said the other day, on the good foot.
Yes.
But there are some of us who didn't start on a good foot, and that appreciation room in a big house was really small.
Teeny tiny even. And he goes on to describe this room. On the walls, there are kind words and phrases describing the good attributes of your mate. You know, things like honesty and intelligence and integrity and... You pumping up?
Oh, yeah. You talking, baby.
A wonderful cook, a wonderful husband, a great provider. All of those types of things are the words that are on the walls of the appreciation room.
And you know, now, I haven't told her this, I said, but with those times when we don't like each other, now we know and give each other the freedom not to like each other 100% of the time.
Right.
So we've already agreed that about 75% of the time, we really like each other.
Yeah, really.
25%, we really don't want to be around each other at all.
Exactly.
We don't like each other much.
Yeah.
But here is the saving grace. We love each other 100% of the time.
Yeah.
And so even when we find ourselves in the 25% location, that 100% love can come right on in and bring us right back over to that 75% that we're so excited about.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. It won't be long. I start thinking about all the things I love about you. I love how you look. I love the way you look in the morning. You know you're in love when you know the way folks look in the morning.
Ain't that the truth? That is so funny. But the things in the appreciation room, it says here, are generally written on the walls during the initial phases of your relationship. You know when everything is peachy keen and you got the tingles? And you can't wait to see your mates and all of those types of things. And that's where things get written on the wall of this appreciation room.
Oh, that tingle is something else, boy. I mean, because you hiding all the bad stuff anyway. You don't want them to see some of the real stuff that you do like to do or even think, because you're trying not to mess it up. You really know that there's still a possibility, there could be even a potential that you could lose this person. So you're doing what Mama said. Mama said put your best foot forward, and you're trying to put your best foot forward in the relationship. The challenge with your best foot is you forget you got 2 feet. So if you bring your best foot forward, you got to bring that other foot up. And that's the one that kind of just mess everything up.
Ain't that the truth? You know, if you state too that after you got married, that perhaps you don't visit the appreciation room as often as you did when you first got together. And you know, if you don't go to that room, there's always another room in the house. And this room, down another dark corridor. Now you listen to the words. The dark corridor of your heart lies the depreciation room. And unfortunately, we spent some time in this room too.
A lot of people who are married spend time in this room. They don't want to admit it. You know, one of the things that got me, I said, these are the rooms of your attitude, mind, and imagination. This is the room we're talking about, both appreciation and depreciation. If you find yourself in that negative room, the question is, why are you in there all the time? Just really, what is it doing for you?
Right.
Because we tend to do things that do something for us, even if it's the wrong thing, but it does something for us, and the challenge is we can get accustomed to those emotions.
Right.
So then when there are challenges, we want to retreat back into the emotions that we understand and know how to deal with, whether they're positive or negative.
Wow. This room that we're talking about is lined with the weaknesses and failures of your husband or wife, all their bad habits, every hateful and hurtful word they ever spoke to you, every wrong thing they ever did to you, every argument. I'm talking about everything that could possibly be negative that you could throw up on a wall and make it stick is in the depreciation room.
Now this will not sound fair, but I apologize. When it comes to men and women in this room, women tend to have a much bigger room with a 4,000 square foot closet. Whereas men, we just can't remember that much stuff. I mean, it's just not in our nature. That's why I tell men now, never sit down with your wife and try to compare what you all have done wrong, because the only two things you're going to think about are sex and money. And if it doesn't deal with sex or money, you don't remember. But buddy, mama going to roll out a list on you, you can best believe.
See, I don't know now. Okay. Some people write very hateful things in this room. And the emotional injuries that we've had, they fester. You know, we never allow it to heal. We put them in this room. The ammunition is kept in this room for the next big fight and the next thing that's going to happen. And you have this disease that spreads. And people fall out of love when they stay too long in this room.
And we're not saying that you should deny that there are challenges with your spouse, because to say that would be lying to you and your spouse. There are challenges, but the question is, how are we going to interact? How are we going to face and handle even those challenges we see within our spouse and ourselves?
One thing they say here is that love knows about the depreciation room, and does not live in denial that it exists. But love chooses not to live in the depreciation room.
Oh, yeah, it says it refuses to feel in the unknowns with negative assumptions. So even when you're not really sure, hey, I'm not going to make it up and try to then look on your past and say, well, I'm going to use your past right now as a blueprint for your future, because you can't be sure unless you really talk to them.
It's time to start thinking differently. It's time to let love lead your thoughts and your focus. The only reason you should glance in the door of the depreciation room is to know how to pray for your spouse. And the only reason you should ever go in this room is to write "covered in love" in huge letters across the walls. Now that just gave me a tingle.
I'm telling you.
Covered in love. All those things, those negative things, they're in this room. Covered in love.
Everything. And then he goes on to say, you must develop the habit. That means you got to practice of reining in, that is, your negative thoughts, and focusing on the positive attributes of your mate. Again, this is done on purpose.
And we've often talked about how we have to be married on purpose, with a purpose.
Whether they deserve it or not.
Or not.
So hey, that's been our love dare for today. And it says, for today's dare, get 2 sheets of paper. On the first one, spend a few minutes writing out positive things about your spouse. Then do the same with negative things on the second sheet. Place both sheets in a secret place for another day. There is a different purpose and plan for each. At some point during the remainder of the day, pick a positive attribute from the first list and thank your spouse for having this characteristic.
And this has been day 7. Join us next time when we talk about day 8.
Day 8 is love is not jealous. Remember, Striking Conversations, get out there, register, get on the site, check it out, get in the classroom, and we'll be sure to see you later.
Bye-bye.
We love you.